Yo, what's good, everyone? Um, so today was consumer sentiment at 10 a.m. and Iran and Israel are like going to war. Israel like launched attacks on them, so I did not take any trades today. I watched the market though. I tape read. Um, I tape read the market. So obviously we dump like 300 points overnight. Like 2% we lost overnight during Asian session. All of London and then all of New York pre-market we start just chopping up slowly back. Now where is it? On high time frame, I had a fib marked out 50%. How because this is a big turning point in the stock market. Obviously, a very big move down. We can expect a retracement back up. So I run at equilibrium here. So equilibrium's here. It's also inside this inversion fair value gap it was that hourly fair value gap that we've been respecting for so long that I was talking about. So we draw a fib from the high to the low, and we can expect it to come up into a premium, into optimal trade entry even, which it did before coming back down. So that's what I was kind of thinking on today. Obviously, I'm not taking a trade, but I'm still analyzing the market as if I was. I'm sorry, like I was. So if I were to have taken a trade, I would wait for it to at least come up into that premium because that acts as a liquidity sweep in this sense. Because obviously there's no liquidity right here; it's just big fair value gaps. However, lower time frame, there are these relative equal highs. The pre-market AM highs. We also had the New York opening range gap that never got filled, which is kind of bizarre to me. However, it doesn't always get filled. 70% of the time it gets filled. So that's that. Going to the day, I wanted buy side taken, these relative equal highs, plus trading up into premium. We did just that right off the open. Very good manipulation. And look at this. Very high manipulation. So New York AM manipulation to reversal is what I was thinking. And we could eventually come down to these lows and maybe the sell side down here around London lows around over here. So we trade up, take out the buy side liquidity, trade up into a premium, chop around at the highs. We create a SMT at these highs here. Higher high made on NQ, lower high made on ES. So that was a decent sign that we would go down. This was also a raid on buy stops, or sell stops, I'm sorry. Raid on sell stops, and then we break down hard. We respect this inversion, which is beautiful. This really big wick, respected it, created SMT, respected the inversion, started selling off. If I were to have entered, it most likely would have been around the macro, which this is the problem here. The macro started on this candle. I would have maybe entered around here if I were to enter. However, I would have gotten stopped out, which is very bad. Good thing I didn't take a trade. Reason being, there's a war happening across the world right now. So why would I take a trade? This for exact reason is we respected the inversion, but I would have gotten stopped out because it's less likely for things to play out when the market conditions aren't good. Hence the war. So I probably would have entered somewhere around this inversion, got stopped because that's the macro. However, news was coming out at 10, so I was going to wait for that regardless. Chop around a little bit. There's this low here. We chop around, news comes out at 10, spike up into the inversion. We're respecting the inversion, immediately rejects it, chops around a little bit, breaks down very hard. Now again, if I were to have entered, I probably would have entered around this fair value gap, targeting these lows, so this would have been my trade if I were to have taken one. Around here, stops above the highs. I would have probably taken it around mid gap, so where it got filled, I would have probably had a good entry. Stop, take profit down here. Nice 4.6, 4.36 risk to reward that I would have had. It's been in profit. Trade up into the fair value gap, respect it. First off, also we invalidate this gap, respecting this one. That's why we're chopping here, but we were respecting bearish PD raise. High time frame bearish. And we just start selling off. I just think overall, obviously shouldn't have traded. You should not feel any type of way about these shorts. I do not care about these shorts. Like I said, when I was explaining the trades I would have taken, quote unquote, it didn't really I didn't really sound like it wasn't like obviously I wouldn't take these because I don't know, it's like odd. It's the market conditions just look bad. So that's that. Monday I will be trading. Tuesday I will be trading. Wednesday there is high impact news like all throughout the day, so I will not be trading that day. I will be tape reading, but I will not be taking a trade. And TP would have just been smashed if I entered up here. Um, but yeah, I don't feel any type of way. You should not feel any type of way about this. This is just back testing. This is just analyzing, practicing. This is what everyone watching these videos should be doing. If they're not using with real money, they should be demo trading. Obviously, staying away from days like this. But even on days that they stay away, they should watch how the market works when the days are not like when it's not good conditions. This is exactly what I want you guys to learn from this up here. How the market moved before this 10 a.m. news, and then how it moved after the 10 a.m. news. You see how it chops right before before the news, and then it clears up after the news and actually creates good price action. It does that for a reason. People say to wait for news, not for no reason. It's for a reason to wait for news. Um, I would have traded today if there wasn't the Israel-Iran thing going on. However, that affects the market a lot. It didn't really affect it that much during the AM session. It was mainly just overnight during when it happened. So it doesn't. I'm not really affecting. It's not really affecting it that much. However, it's just you have to be weary about it. And I think if I were to have taken a trade at this inversion, getting stopped out up here would have been because of the news at 10 a.m. So you definitely would have wanted to wait for that. And there's been some people I've been talking to, some of my friends who've been getting into trading, and they asked me like, why is it important to wait for news? This right here. You could say everything you want about price action. You cannot find a good trade in here until news happens. And just I want you to see like how price action worked before news, and then how it looks after news. Why can't I click a box? Here we go. Which would you much rather want to trade in? The yellow box or the orange box? I would choose the yellow box because it actually moved. It didn't stay in a range. Right when news came out, boom, we had it. You wait for news, you wait for a break down, market structure shift, boom, enter the market, boom, easy take profit. Now, obviously, I'm not saying you should have entered here because of the Israel stuff going on. You always have to be tapped into the high time frame news, like not high time frame, like the overall news, the world news. But like I said, you should not feel any type of way about this. It's you shouldn't if you felt I missed out on this move. There's 10 times better moves than these. This is a good move, respected every PD right until take profit, but you shouldn't feel any type of way. I'll be back on Monday. I might make a video on Saturday, Sunday, going over like a PD Red. People have been asking me like to explain how to find draws on liquidity. People have been explaining to me how to draw fibs, so I might make a video on that. Just let me know. But yeah.